Have you ever had horrifying thoughts? Have you ever wanted to drink embalming fluid? Have you ever looked at a fish tank and thought, damn, those rocks look pretty tasty? This video is for every person who chomped on Polly Pocket clothes because I'm going to be telling you my exact thoughts on how edible every single Animal Crossing villager is based on this very specific system. It's been a while since I've been on Tier Maker, and I feel like I need to return home from the war to my wife who has been missing me very much, so here we are. We're back on the funny little site where I rank things. Isn't that fantastic? Have you missed me? I've missed it, but not that much. Up top, as the very first delicacy, the top tier of this Animal Crossing tier list, we have Polly Pocket clothes. If you are not a child who grew up around Polly Pocket clothes and you have never put that in your mouth, I want you to understand that it's like chewing on any kind of other silicone, but very soft and shaped. This is a delicacy for children of all ages and probably adults. I haven't put a Polly Pocket clothing item in my mouth in quite some time, but I kind of want to do it again now. Below that, we have fishbowl rocks. I have always thought that they may taste like some popping candy, but I also feel like the texture could lean into a chalky feeling if it's the right kind. You know, if we've got those glassier fishbowl rocks, that's perfect, but I'm talking about the ones that do kind of look like they could be chalky, cheap candy tasting, and I don't really want that. But still a very good delicacy, which is why we have them up top. You know, I would munch on some. I would take a fistful if I thought they were edible and shovel them in my mouth just for that good old neon color. I want Yellow Lake 5 in my body swirling around in my blood like it's some kind of life elixir. Below that is our middle tier, a screen protector. Now you may wonder, why is this so low? A screen protector looks quite scrumptious, and I do agree with you. However, I feel like the texture in your mouth would be pretty unpleasant. It wouldn't be fully glass candy-like just because of that sticky coating on the bottom. I feel like that would be kind of a bad experience. I feel like that would be awful. I don't want any of that gluey stuff sticking to my mouth when I eat it, okay? I just want to crunch and be done. But I cannot help but think about how gluey it would be on the bottom. Not my favorite. Below that is Necco Wafer. If you don't know what these are, you're a lucky human being. These are Necco wafers. They have the texture of a good old piece of chalk, and they do not have any kind of flavor. They will lie to you and say that these are flavors. Okay, look at this. This says flavors. These taste like God does not forgive you. This tastes like God is revoking Jesus. What the fuck is this? Clove? Never again. I would still eat them though. Last but not least, in our bottom tier is envelope. Now, okay, they tell you to lick them, and I don't think that's true. I think that you're not supposed to lick envelopes because that is the worst, most bitter, disgusting texture in your mouth, the worst thing that you could possibly do. Instead of lethal injections, I feel like they should be giving these out because it will take you out if you lick it for too long. That was some kind of propaganda put out. I don't know. That was just fake. That was fake. That was a disgusting way to get people to do something that was horrible for them. I will never lick an envelope again, so that's why it's the bottom tier. First off, we have the elusive Blanca, who is not a New Horizons at the moment, which is very sad. I miss Blanca dearly. My trickster child, my ghost of bad bitch past. I don't know what else to say about her. This woman is so important to me. She's important to my fundamental DNA. She runs through the whites of my eyes like some kind of beautiful pearlescent pigment. I love this woman with my whole heart. Okay, Blanca, you are the amalgamation of everything I wish I was. Blanca looks like you could chew her and she would like bounce back, you know? She would be a good chewy texture, possibly some kind of marshmallowy flavor. Probably something that could be misconstrued as an egg white if you were looking at it from far away, because I feel like there would be some shine to it, but I think that's just kind of confectionery, sugary gelatin vibes to it. You know what I mean? I feel like a sweet filling would be inside, maybe some sort of rainbow sprinkles for the clown look. I don't know, that seems good to me. She seems like a very good textural experience, you know, chewy, delightful, sweet. I absolutely think that she would be really good on top of a hot chocolate, maybe in a cocktail with some vodka and Irish cream. I'm gonna go ahead and put this woman in Polly Pocket clothes. The delicate texture, the good sweetness, I think she would be great. I think she would be a Polly Pocket clothes type experience of splendor and pleasure. Blathers. I think Blathers is giving off crunchy vibes, you know? I think he would be able to be a lower sugar type vibe. He would never let himself be good. He would never let himself be a full-blown sweet, a full-blown tasty, delicious amalgamation. You know what I mean? This guy is very brutal. He's very focused on getting what he needs. He's focused on being time sensitive. He's focused on being on the clock at all times. He does not give himself any time to have a pure, beautiful life. He does not give himself any time to really explore humanity and explore his humanness, which gives me a crunchier vibe, to be honest with you. You know, off-brand Nature Valley. Yeah, like a cheap, great value Nature Valley Valley, who has that same crumbly texture but not as much sweetness. He was made without any kind of added ingredients that actually enhance flavor, no cinnamon, no nutmeg, which is so unfortunate because I do love him as a person. I think that he is very vital to Animal Crossing as a concept. However, I just don't think that he would taste that good. I'm gonna go with Screen Protector because I feel like he would be sustenance, you know? He would be sustenance, he would make you feel full, but you would never reach for him. You would never reach to crunch on Blathers, you know? You're not gonna be eating horse food like that, okay? That's horse food right there. I'm sorry. Is anybody else getting like bacon vibes here? I don't know where that came from. I have no idea. I'm a vegetarian and I am fucking scared of him. Envelope. No thanks. No thank you. You two go as a pair, you know? I'm just not really that into meat. Not a big fan of it. Not a big fan of the grease. Not a big fan of that chewy texture, that stringy, tendony texture that bacon can sometimes have. So you know what? I'm good. I'm really good. I think I'll stick to tofu. I am. Thank you both. Anyway, Brewster. Oh yes, Brewster would be delicious. And I'm not just saying that because of the coffee thing, and I love coffee. I have had a lot of coffee today, which is really bad because it doesn't mix well with my Vyvanse. That means I am incredibly anxious and I can't stop staring. This video is going to be really interesting when I finally get to editing it, I think. I think I'm going to be a little bit concerned about what I've created and regret making it, but whatever, it's fine. I think Brewster is giving off pistachio vibes, not just because of the green, but I feel like he would appreciate a nice subtle nutty flavor. I feel like he would be a kind of baked good texture with some kind of sanding sugar on top, powdered sugar, a little bit of a glaze of sugar, if you know what I mean. You know that powdery feeling that you feel kind of like on mochi ice creams or whatever, where it's been rolled in something to make it not sticky, even gum at times. I feel like he's a pastry with that. And then on the inside, maybe some kind of pistachio filling, maybe a pistachio cream or jelly. Either way, very good, very delightful, but not overly sweet. I think that he appreciates that lack of over sweetness. He's a person like me who prefers something that's like a little bit subtly sweet rather than anything else. And I feel like chewy wise, stretchy wise, he would rip apart pretty easily, which I prefer a fluffier, bouncier texture in baked goods, but that's okay. You know, he can be a little dry and flaky, that's fine, most men are. Maybe a croissant-y sort of texture with a sanding sugar topping on it. Yeah, that's what I would say. That sounds pretty good to me. I would say fishbowl rocks for that. Not my preferred texture, not my preferred experience. However, I do respect it, and I think a lot of people would really like it. Celeste. Oh, I'm getting such a candy vibe from her, but one of those softer candies, not one that's flavored like Jolly Ranchers or something. I don't think so. I don't like Jolly Ranchers. I think that she would be like a very lightly fruity, maybe one of those like lychee flavored things. I feel like a lychee flavor or a softer sakura flavor in a candy. One of those that's kind of more exclusive to Japan, because I know in a lot of cultures the less sweet is a bit more celebrated, which is really cool. I think that's cool. I love everybody's food cultures. I think they're so great. So if you have a food culture you want to tell me about it. I would love to learn. I think that, yeah, a sakura gummy or something. I think one of those softer gummies, you know, like you would get from a weed shop when you're having an edible. I love that. I think she's so cute. I think she would be pretty edible. Not my favorite gummy texture. I prefer that chewy bounce like in Polly Pocket clothes, but I'm gonna go with fishbowl rocks as well. I think she would be good, but not that good. Chip reminds me of like dehydrated food that you're supposed to bring with you on like hikes or whatever. I've never been on a hike. Why would I do that? I'm definitely getting dehydrated food, like specifically maybe dehydrated mashed potatoes, which I've had before. I have eaten those. I've eaten dehydrated mashed potatoes that you get in the little packet. They're okay. They're really not bad, but they have none of that good actual potato flavor. You get none of that creaminess. You get none of that sweetness from the butter. You get nothing good there. You just get like food. You get food that is okay and it tastes pretty near to the real thing, but it's definitely been processed over and over again to make sure that there's nothing that could possibly harm you in it, and that just doesn't sound very good to me. He definitely gives off Necco wafer vibes to me, you know, especially with those weird flavors. I just feel like he has that sort of, okay, I'll eat it vibe, you know? I don't want to eat this. I don't want to put chip in my mouth. Weirdly, his name is Chip. He gives me absolutely no chip vibes, other than maybe like beer. I can see beer. I can smell beer on him, but that's about it. CJ, actually saying that out loud really helped me here with CJ. CJ is a Pilsner. CJ is a drink. CJ is an alcoholic wheat beverage. Yeah, light beer, I would say, which is just kind of ugh. But CJ has a place. But he definitely gives off alcoholic beverage vibes, but a lighter one because he wants to be active, he wants to be doing stuff, he wants to have one at night and feel okay afterward. You know, he's just giving me a bubbly, but still kind of weedy flavor. Not a big fan of it, but you know, to each their own. I don't feel like he's necessarily a universally unenjoyable thing. I think a lot of people could like him. I'm gonna go with Screen Protector. He could have some like unpleasant notes for me, but I feel like anybody else could probably like him. Daisy May. I feel bad about this. Just to be clear, I would never eat Daisy May. You know, I was just saying, like literally the last video I posted on this channel, I said, I am going to stray away from the human eating topics. Anyway, Daisy May, first of all, looks sick. I am so scared of getting food poisoning all the time, alright? This woman, I would not be able to put her in my mouth, but if she was totally fine, I think she would be some kind of Wendy's salad. You know, a fast food salad that's like a summer salad with squash or whatever, and you don't think it's actually squash, but you can't really put your finger on what it is. You know, it's a very cheap, it's just supposed to taste green. The flavors run together, it's not the best. I think that's mostly because of her turnips, but I'm not getting turnip from her, you know? I'm not getting any kind of like crunch from her, just kind of that soggy salad, unfortunately. I'm gonna go with like Necco wafer for that. I just don't really like it. I'm not a big fan of it. I hope that she continues to be slightly unsuitable for eating due to food poisoning, because I don't think she should ever be eaten. I think she's a child. Leave the children out of this. Digby. Okay. Digby is definitely reminding me of a drink here. I feel like he is some kind of hot chocolate, perhaps. You know what I've realized recently? Okay, this is making me upset. Hot chocolate is not as good as I remember it being. I remember hot chocolate being a very good thing, a very delightful, delicious thing. And I really like hot chocolate coffee, I guess, because that's what a mocha is, basically. However, hot chocolate is not that good, and I'm very upset by this revelation. And I know I've only had like the packet hot chocolate, but I feel like everybody worships hot chocolate in this way, and I don't remember it being bad. But now it's just so lackluster. I feel like a hot chocolate is just a completely lackluster experience for me now. I don't know. I feel like he is that hot chocolate. He's a fairly lackluster hot chocolate. But he's good for kids, you know, he's good to have a little bit of a sip on in winter. He's good by the fireplace, but he doesn't have that flavor. He doesn't have that vibe. He's not smooth. Hot chocolate can be really grainy at times. Alright, you're not gonna feel that go down your throat and be like, yeah, that's nice, that's calming. Which is a very screen protector kind of vibe. Dawn Rossetti. Soup, a warm soup, a good, nice, comforting soup. I'm thinking like a soup with a hearty tomato base to it, you know, something that's been simmering for a while. It has a warmer flavor, it's really nice, it's really comforting. I think this man would be a great soup, you know? Good old-fashioned soup could possibly be chicken noodle, but I feel like he would have a little bit more of that tomato flavor to him, so I'm not gonna go with chicken noodle, but it could possibly have noodle in it somewhere. He seems nice. I do enjoy a conversation with Dawn Rossetti. I think that he has a good heart to him. A good old-fashioned soup. I don't know what kind of soup I'm even thinking of. I'm just like making up a soup here. I've invented a new soup for this man. I'm gonna go with fishbowl rocks. That sounds really good. A soup does sound quite good. You know, a soup is something that is going to be very instrumental to all of us one day. You're gonna make soup, you're gonna drink soup, you're gonna have a really good time with the soup. You're gonna feel very comfortable with how the soup is going. You're gonna feel like you've done something good for the world by making this soup, and he embodies that pretty well. Dr. Shrunk. You know, he just does not look edible to me. He just does not look good. He looks rotted. Those pink hot dogs, those really cheap pink hot dogs. And you know, I can't stand hot dogs because of the texture in them. You know when you chew that and you feel like that weird fatty, tendony part and you just kind of feel like you're gonna die immediately? That's what I'm getting from him. I love Dr. Shrunk as a character. I really do. Trust me. This is out of no hatred of Dr. Shrunk. I just would not put him anywhere near my mouth. I'm getting like that sweat vibe. I don't think so. Envelope. No. Farley. Aw, my son. I do love Farley. I really do love Farley, okay? This is my baby. Farley should have been in New Horizons, and I completely stand by this. I'm getting a lot of maybe sparkling water vibes from him. One of those sodas that they make, like sodas that people get, they get like sparkling water or tonic water or whatever it is, and they put flavors in it, and that's like a soda. That is deeply weird to me. That is not something I would ever think of doing or drinking. However, I think that he would definitely embody that pretty well. I think it's the flower. I just see like him in a little fancy, refreshing soda. I'm getting a sickly sweet vibe from him, you know what I mean? I would say for me, Fishbowl Rocks. He reminds me of Fishbowl Rocks a lot. I probably would not drink him, but he does look like he would be tasty in like a Taco Bell advertisement, you know what I mean? You know, that sort of thing where you're like, that looks good, and then if you actually think about ordering it, you're like, Flick. Flick is giving off black licorice vibes to me, and okay, I know a lot of people don't like black licorice. That's okay. You know what? That's fine. I don't love it exactly, but I will enjoy it from time to time. I will have a black licorice phase where I think that that shit tastes good, and that's when I know I'm not in a good place mentally. However, I think that he would pull off that vibe perfectly. He would love that bitter taste to it. He would love that licorice taste. He would love to be a chewy little monstrosity of a person. I think that that's the perfect texture as well. You know, it's got a bite to it. It takes some force, but it's good. I'm not talking about those little licorice things that are like supposed to look cute. I'm talking about like black licorice. You see it, I see it, we both see it, we're both aware of what we're looking at right now. This man is made out of black licorice. I'm gonna put him in Polly Pocket clothes. I honestly feel like he would be good. I hate to say it. Franklin, I do really associate Thanksgiving with him due to the whole Turkey Day thing. I do. However, I'm getting kind of like a cranberry sauce vibe from him. It does sound really good to me, a cranberry sauce, you know, but I feel like he would be one of those less blended ones that are supposed to like look fancy but don't taste as good because they don't have any of the elements that make cranberry sauce really good. They're meant to look fancy as a garnish on your plate. That's it. That's all it's there for. It's not there to be enjoyed. It's not there to be eaten and enjoyed. It is there to be a garnish on your plate. And I feel like that's his whole vibe, you know? He is not there to make you food that is great. It's supposed to look good. And I don't love that philosophy, okay? You know what? Take your stuck up food and go somewhere else. Go work at a Gordon Ramsay restaurant or whatever. I don't appreciate this, you know? I think that you should get a grip on life, Franklin, and I think that you should make your cranberry sauce a little bit better. Just because all garnish stuff just doesn't taste very good, I'm gonna go with Necco wafer. I'm gonna say it's a cranberry sauce that's in the Necco wafer category, and I wish that I feel like I could enjoy Franklin, but I just do not think he would be that good. Frillard, ooh, yeah, Cheez-It, 100%, but like the white Cheez-Its. You remember those? Am I making those up? Because I used to not like Cheez-Its. I'm not a big fan of Cheez-Its. I say I used to. I just haven't had a Cheez-It in a long time, so I assume that I still don't like them. I have not had a Cheez-It in a long time, but I feel like those white Parmesan Cheez-Its is what I'm getting from him. Pretty easy to approach, pretty approachable, you know, a food that has a texture that's very uniform, crunchy, you know, that's fine. I could also see him as one of those like Cheez-It peanut butter sandwich thingies, you know, those cracker sandwiches. I could see that as well, but I feel like he just wouldn't be very satisfying, you know, not very fun, not very exciting, nothing new. He would taste fairly unimpressive, I would say. I would prefer him in sandwich form than alone, but you know what, that's fine. Who came up with those and why were they everywhere? Because I swear, not once did I ever like look at those and think, yeah, you know, I want that. He's good for people who don't like a lot of flavor. That's good, you know, screen protector, 100% screen protector. I think these are the men from Pocket Camp that have the little RV place. That's correct. I forget their names. I don't know. I think one is named like Pepe or something. I don't know. I'm gonna count them as a group because they're here as a group. I would say absolutely the feeling of getting gasoline in your mouth or lighter fluid or something. Very bitter, chemical tasting, not good. Tastes like some kind of oil smear on the back of your throat and it's never gonna wash away with water as many times as you try. It's just gonna coat you completely in this petrol nasty taste, alright? Fossil fuels smog in the back of your throat, on your tongue, not the best, not flavorful, not delicious, not gonna make it onto any kind of 5-star menu, not even gonna make it onto the McDonald's menu, purely tasting of oil. Envelope. Gracie Grace. I think we're both thinking the same thing, and I really hope that we are. I really hope that we're on the same page here because this woman is a rosé wine, right? Do you see what I mean? A fruity, florally flavor, but also that kick of alcohol, because there is no Gracie Grace without a little bit of alcohol in her, okay? Even like a lighter white wine I could go with, but I feel like rosé is a lot closer. Maybe a Pink Whitney. I don't know. This is what I'm getting from her, absolutely, but it's kind of a more sophisticated, classy, lighter wine, you know? You feel like you're gonna see that in a store and you're gonna be like, yeah, that's a nice wine. She's expensive, she is exclusive, but also she's just wine. Gracie Grace. I'm gonna go with Fishbowl Rocks, 100%. She gives off that colorful vibe, that really aesthetically pleasing, eye-pleasing vibe, but it's still gonna have the same effect as anything else, you know? She is just covered in a little bit better presentation and a little bit more fun, prestigious feeling. I love that. She is the runway version of any kind of pink lemonade. Grandma Cap'n is a dried prune. If you know what prunes do to you, enough said. Necco wafer. It can be helpful at times. Very specific times though. Be very careful when you take prunes. Gullivar. Yeah, okay. This is fantastic. I just hate him. I hate him more than regular Gulliver because he's putting on this show. He's putting on this mask. He's trying to make you think that he's new and exciting and fun. But in reality, he just knows that nobody can love him the way that he is. So he's trying. He's trying as hard as he possibly can. But he knows full well he'll never be loved or appreciated because he can't. He's incapable of loving back. He's incapable of being a good person, you know? And Gulliver is just another iteration of that. Another body to bury in the backyard. Gulliver is a terribly battered fish stick that's really cheap and will give you food poisoning 100%. I don't think I'm allergic to shellfish, but I've never really been interested in trying them, so I'm scared that I am. That's completely unrelated. Anyway, I don't think that he sounds good. I think he sounds greasy, nasty, horribly tasting, horribly textured, saltwater flavored envelope. Regular Gullivar, I feel like we're getting LaCroix vibes from him, a good LaCroix sparkling water, and by good I mean not good. I have tried over and over again to like sparkling water. This is a tale that I've discussed many times in my videos. I've tried to like sparkling water. I have, but it still to me tastes like some kind of love child between TB Static and the back end of an old desk from work. That's what it tastes like to me, you know, but it's still water, it's still hydration, it's not gonna make you sick per se. Necco wafer for sure, 100%, not delicious, has no discernible flavor to him, and is always disappointing. Harriet, I mean like the immediate thought is obviously like a cotton candy, but I don't think that she would actually be a cotton candy. I feel like she's too firmly packed to be a cotton candy. Maybe an actual mochi, you know, a mochi that's filled with maybe red bean or something, pink outside obviously, but chewy and very slightly sweet on the inside. A good all-around snack, a good flavor, a lot of different notes, a very subtle soft flavor but really tasty. I think that she would be a really good mouthfeel as well. I think chewing on her would be a pleasant experience, you know. I'm gonna go with like Polly Pocket Glows straight up. I think Harriet would be delicious. I think Harriet would be not only a good experience sensory wise, but she would be a good flavor. That sounds truly delicious. Okay, this woman, fantastic. Harvey, I'm definitely getting like honey tea from, like a soft lemony tea, something that you would see bottled up at like a craft fair or a farmer's market that somebody was trying to sell for $8. I mean, like completely and utterly natural, organic, very fair trade. He would be made of homemade honey. I guess the bees are always making it in their home. You know what you get what I mean, okay? Locally sourced honey, whatever, who cares? Floral, nutty flavor of a black tea mixed with honey. You know, it's a very light, refreshing flavor, good for a sore throat, which I'm currently maintaining because I'm doing this video. He would be really good, but a more stuck-up version of a classic. I'm sure that everybody who makes those really cool artisan teas is absolutely doing their best to make a great product, but I can't pay $8 for it, but Harvey can, you know? He seems like he would be a good addition to a nice relaxing evening watching some kind of TV show that makes you very angry. I feel like you would honestly be really good. Fishbowl rocks, I would say. Fishbowl rocks. Isabel, oh my beloved Isabel, hello. I love her. She looks immensely edible to me, 100%. This is a pretty basic answer and I'm fully aware of this, but lemon meringue pie. You know, I feel like she would be a very, very closely light, fluffy, not at all dense lemon meringue pie with a flakier crust, maybe even a graham cracker crust, because I feel like she would have that kind of more homegrown honey feel to her. She looks really good. She honestly, you know, the cannibalism is okay here, I would say. That's completely okay because she looks fluffy, light, soft, delicious, silky, one of those more silky meringues, because I feel like if you do a meringue wrong, you can get a really gritty, sandy meringue. I love her deeply. A really good lemon meringue pie from a local cafe or something, a bakery that knows what they're doing, and their prices will reflect that, but they know what they're doing, okay? It has the real lemon zest in it, you can see it, but it's still very nice and light and fragrant. I feel like she would just taste so good. Polly Pocket Clothes, 100% delightful. Jack. I'm not gonna go with something pumpkin here, okay? Don't worry. Don't worry. I mean, obviously it looks pumpkin-y, but I feel like that's because he's more of just a Halloween-y treat. He's just dressing like it. He's just a decoration. His actual flavor to me is absolutely some kind of dark roast coffee. You know, a real espresso shot, nothing added into it, no flavors, no milk, nothing like that. Just a straight up dark roast, really smoothly roasted though, good beans, really velvety, smooth, chocolatey, really good. I am such a coffee fiend. I am such a big fan of coffee and I feel like he would be delightful. I prefer to have espresso shots in a latte, but I do enjoy an espresso shot by itself. I feel like he would be really good. I feel like he'd be one of those coffees that you really just enjoy for the flavor of the coffee and not the flavor of the latte as a whole. Fishbowl rocks, 100%. Like I said, I prefer coffee and lattes, but I do enjoy an espresso shot from time to time, and that's him. Jingle, I have like the absolute perfect thing in mind for him. He is a gingerbread house, but one of those that has been sitting in your house stale for a while. When you get those gingerbread house kits, okay, you are going to have the worst cookie of your life. Those things are not meant to be eaten. They are made out of molten plastic and glass, and those come together to make a cute gingerbread house for sure, but they taste terrible. He would taste like stale rotten sugar, alright, with a little bit of cinnamon to it, maybe a cinnamon candle wax kind of vibe. I'm getting a visual aesthetic pass and a flavor fail, you know, completely and utterly dry, cracked. That's what I'm saying for him. He is completely inedible after about 2 weeks of sitting out. Jingle get a grip, Necco wafer, 100% nasty. Joan, I feel like she would be the hair on a coconut. Is that what you would even call it? Hair? Hold on. Oh, what? Okay, I guess the seed of a coconut. I see. Maybe I'm stupid. I think I might be stupid, actually. Anyway, that's what she reminds me of, the seed of a coconut. I feel like that would be a horrible texture, but very earthy, grassy, kind of soily tasting. Not delicious, not very good. The texture of burlap but in a food, and that's so much worse than regular burlap. Envelope. Katie's mother? I'll never remember her name. I'm just gonna call her Katie's mother, okay? You know, leave me alone. Leave me alone. This woman is giving off very much Twinkie vibes, not Twink vibes. Twinkie. I'm saying Twinkie as in the Hostess cake. Just very spongy, very sweet, very interestingly lard-like in texture. Not a fan of that, not really a fan of that, but a very classic look to her. She's got a classic face, completely edible, but just not for me, not my favorite. And you know what, if you like Twinkies, if you're a fan of Twinkies, that's fine. She just does not look good to me. I'm sorry. Screen protector. Cappen's like a Baja Blast. I really hate to say it, I do, but all I'm getting from him is Baja Blast. Baja Blast is one of the weirdest flavors I've ever had in my life, and I will never ever drink it again, okay? I had enough with one sip of that stuff. This man's a Baja Blast, maybe even a Taco Bell Baja Blast freeze if you really want to be fancy about it. You know, a little bit radioactive tasting, could possibly be nuclear fuel. I'm sorry about all the nuclear stuff lately. After my last video and I started talking about nuclear stuff because I had a dream about it, I did in fact get hyperfixated on Chernobyl. Yeah, that's a new phase in my life, okay? Listen, the cat stuff is getting really stressful. Yeah, Baja Blast, 100%. This is an icy, chemically flavor, but still Mountain Dew, still a good color, still aesthetically kind of fun, ectoplasm-y. I would say is another screen protector. Katie is a banana-flavored Hi-Chew. That is just exactly it, a banana-flavored Hi-Chew. And banana flavors don't ever taste like banana, but I actually do enjoy them. I do think they taste kind of good. Not a banana Laffy Taffy, though. That is the devil's spawn. But I feel like that taffy flavor is also present there. Did you guys ever have saltwater taffy? Because that was like the most off-putting thing to me. Every time you go into a gift shop in the middle of nowhere, they have saltwater toffee. I don't understand that. Where did saltwater toffee ever come from? Who's buying this? Who is a purchaser of saltwater toffee? I could fuck up a banana Hi-Chew. Fishbowl rocks. She looks pretty edible, but I'm not gonna eat her again because of the Daisy May thing. No thank you. Katrina. Katrina looks good. I won't lie to you, Katrina does look really good. I'm thinking maybe a jam, maybe like a blueberry jam. I think that she would have a more delicate, like hand-grown fruit kind of thing from a local farm flavor. She could almost be a darker wine, but I'm gonna go with that jam because I feel like she stands really well on her own, but she goes with things really well. You know, better texture than Franklin's cranberry shit. I think that she would be really good, a deluxe fancy jam that you get in one of those sampler boxes that people send you. I've never had one of those in my life, you know, those fancy ones. Maybe even like a boysenberry. I'm gonna go with Polly Pocket Clothes. I think she would be very expensive, very fancy, very much a delicacy. Kix is a cigarette. Kix is a cigarette. I'm talking smoke flavor. I'm talking the flavor of smoke and tobacco all mixed up in your mouth. Now, it depends on who you ask. I'm not a smoker. Have I had a cigarette in my mouth before? Yes. Did I enjoy it? Yes, which is why I'm not a smoker, because I never touched one again, because I knew full well. But you know me and my stance on how cool smoking looks, which is very unfortunate. I'm not encouraging smoking. I would never do that. Never smoke, but it does look cool. So I would say like screen protector, just because I know fundamentally that's not good, but I do like the flavor of a cigarette. I would probably chew on one. KK Slider. KK Slider, I'm getting like a diner vibe to him, maybe a fluffy pancake with some hash browns. You know what I mean? I'm getting a very on the road all the time, you know, very sweet waiters, very sweet, kind people that you meet there, but it's a liminal space again. It's a traveling stop. It's something you never see again. And he's got that greasy diner food vibe to him, you know what I mean? He's got that really good pancake Bisquick almost flavor to him, 100%. He's got to be a breakfast from a truck stop. Ooh, I don't know where to put him. I feel like that sounds good, but not that good. Fishbowl rocks, I would say. Fishbowl rocks. He sounds pretty good, to be honest with you. I think that's a good old-fashioned food. I really do. I think he would taste good. Label. Ugh. Label would be a bottle of wine. I'm saying like a mid-tier wine that somebody would be like, ooh, wow, thanks, when you brought it to the table, but it wasn't that expensive. She wants to be a really alcohol-heavy wine, a really high content, a really bitter wine. You know, something that's not great, something that's not delicious. However, she is very stuck up about her position as this wine, you know? She thinks that she is some kind of designer wine when she's really not. She's just a darker wine in color. I'm thinking like as easy to get drunk off of as possible, okay? That's Label to me. Expensive, not really worth it. That's to me Necco wafer. That's Necco wafer to me. Not worth it at all. She thinks that she's superior for being this kind of like purist of flavors or whatever. Stop it. Get help. Leaf gives me mintier, cooler vibes, you know, a plant vibe that is more palatable with usual foods. Maybe a mint chocolate, maybe a thin mint, I would say. I would say Leaf definitely reminds me of a Girl Scout thin mint, a crunchy texture, easy to have on the go, easy to pop in your mouth, a pretty universally flattering flavor, unless you don't like mint chocolate, which you're weird for that. I'm sorry, but you are. Mint chocolate is good. It does not taste like toothpaste. Whatever toothpaste you're using is completely horrifying if it tastes like that, okay? Thank you. I think he would absolutely be a mint chocolate girly. A little bit distracting from the super sweetness of chocolate. A thin mint. Not an Andes mint, though. Those don't taste like mint at all. I will fuck up a thin mint. I will. I love a thin mint. Polly Pocket clothes. Delicious. Delectable. We have Leilani. This is Captain's wife. I feel like she really looks adorable. She is so cute in her little sundress. I'm getting like a sweet potato chip from her. You know, not a normal chip, but a sweet potato chip. Kind of less satisfying than a normal chip, but still good. I like sweet potatoes a lot, but I prefer them in, you know, their natural form. I don't really want them in a dehydrated chip. That's just not good to me. That doesn't taste delightful to me. But I feel like she would be a sweet potato chip. Slightly salted, not the best flavor-wise, not the greatest. Maybe one of those sweet potato chips that you would get at Costco in a huge bag, and then you buy them and you're like, oh, these aren't that great, but you have to finish them because you bought them. I'm gonna go ahead and put her in screen protector. I feel like she would absolutely be edible, but not the best. But not tasty. That's like a toddler. No, I refuse to eat a toddler. I'm sorry, I refuse, okay? Absolutely not. But if I had to give her something, it would be grass. That just does not sound good. I just feel like it would have too many pesticides on it. I don't think so. Envelope, baby girl. Envelope, I'm sorry. No way. No how. Lloyd is a communion wafer. Lloyd is absolutely a communion wafer, okay? This man is completely communion wafery. He is papery, he's cardboardy, he has no flavor to him. You pop him in your mouth and he's crunchy for 2 seconds before he dissolves into some kind of plastic byproduct. And now the microplastics are going through your bloodstream, you know what I mean? I feel like you could never force me to enjoy Lloyd. You could never convince me that he has any kind of flavor. If you put him in something flavorful, he would just immediately soak it up and discard it and turn it into some kind of like ATP or something. Necco wafer though, because I feel like they have the same exact texture, the same exact amount of flavor. That is a Necco wafer. Lottie. Lottie is giving off the vibes of those strawberry shortcake ice cream cones that you would get at the ice cream truck when the ice cream truck came by. They were very specific ice cream truck delicacy. I've never seen one in a grocery store. I mean, like I have, but not the same brand, you know, not the same experience. You could never get one of those from a true grocery store. I feel like she has that slight cakey sweetness on the outside and the more sorbet vibe in the middle. Because like if you look at her, she looks like a sorbet, 100%. That like less dairy heavy version, you know, she is a strawberry sorbet on the inside, but she's still got sweetness. She's still really sweet and cute. I definitely believe you would be able to taste the wood from the stick though. I think that that's absolutely a delicacy. Polly Pocket clothes, 100%. She would taste delightful. She would taste so good. I love a sorbet. I love a strawberry shortcake bar. Luna. Ooh, Luna's interesting. Luna's really interesting. I'm kind of also getting a coffee vibe from her, but I would say maybe a more latte type vibe or a cappuccino. That's it, a cappuccino. You've got that silkiness of like the foam in you and stuff, but she's also very smooth, easy to drink, bold flavored. Just a good old fashioned cappuccino, and I mean like an actual cappuccino. I'm not talking about a latte. I would say fishbowl rocks. That sounds really good to me, but it's not my first choice for coffee. I think she would be really good though. I really do. I think that she would be a good experience, a really pleasant experience. Lyle would taste like Pedialyte, okay? And you know how Pedialyte can be good at times, but it really just tastes salty when you start drinking it, when you like feel normal and you have all of your electrolytes. It tastes really salty and odd. I'm talking about that flavor. The flavor of drinking Pedialyte when you're fine and you're like, this is really kind of horrifying. This is so salty and oddly flavored. That gross electrolyte taste that Pedialyte can have, because Pedialyte is really good when you're sick. Pedialyte tastes great when you're sick, but when you feel normal, Pedialyte tastes like Lyle. And I'm sorry, Lyle, but I think that you should really fix yourself here. I think that you need to go through many years of therapy to fix your Pedialyte flavor. Envelope. Ooh, Mabel. Mabel's interesting to me. She is Trident gum. She is a winter mint flavor of Trident gum. That's what I'm getting from her. You know, really spiky, refreshing, tingly. A good gum. A very good gum. Because I feel like a good Trident gum will really burst you back into reality, okay? It's a very invasive flavor, but I think that she would do good. I think that she is a very necessary part. You know, I love chewing gum. It calms me down. It's a good texture. She's a screen protector vibe. That's not a flavor I would eat as food, but you know, it's okay. It's needed. It's good. Rossetti, the original. Rossetti, the non-Dawn one. Raw cocoa powder. Raw cocoa powder. I'm not talking about the shit you make hot chocolate with. I'm talking about cocoa powder that when you put it into your mouth, it tastes like burnt sand. I love cocoa powder whenever it's mixed into something. I love it. It's really good. This man is kind of full of shit. And that's why it's like vanilla extract where you mix it into something and it flavors it. That's fantastic. Cocoa powder of proportions that we do not want to taste. You know, cocoa powder is an ingredient that you mix into stuff. You don't want bitter cocoa powder. And of course, I'm sure there are cocoa powders that are not that bitter, but I have tasted mostly very bitter cocoa powders, and that's him to me. Necco wafer. Not good. Nat is a fruit roll-up 100%. That kind of leathery feeling, like that cheap plastic suede leathery feeling, if you know what I mean, on your tongue. I'm feeling a lot of fruit leathery vibes, but also that sweetness, that watermelon flavor, you know, the candy watermelon flavor that I'm talking about. He gives off that kind of vibe. Chewy, pull-aparty, you know, a little bit more flexible, but he still has that fruit roll-up taste that everybody loves. You could even eat the plastic and it would still taste like him, okay? I'm a fan of fruit roll-ups. Polly Pocket fantastic texture for chewing and gnawing on, and delicious flavor. Nico's a Klondike bar. You know, you do a lot for a Klondike bar, but not that much. I feel like Klondike has some of the best ice cream though. It's a really good texture and I love it, and I love the crunch of the shell. I love anything with like a crunch to it, but it's almost a velvety crunch. It's not like a powdery crunch. It is a crunch that's like snapping. I love that. He would be very delicious, I think. You know, he is a very special man. He's very special, very flavorful, very good. Not necessarily something exciting or innovative in culinary arts or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a culinary person. I don't even know what food is that much. I think that he would be quite yummy. I'm gonna go Polly Pocket clothes for him as well. He just sounds so good. He sounds so good to me. Orville, prison, jail, the flavor of applesauce, but the texture of frozen applesauce. He would have that flavor, that fresher flavor, that slightly tangy flavor, but I don't like the texture of things like applesauce when they're frozen because it just feels grainy when you bite into it, you know what I mean? That is not at all pleasing to me. I do like the flavor of applesauce, but this is just kind of rancid. Got those chunks in it, and when you freeze the chunks, it's just horrible. It would be a very baby food type texture experience, but frozen and cold, and I don't want that at all. I'm gonna go with Necco wafer. Just eat normal applesauce, you sicko. Pascal, psilocybin mushrooms. I don't know what those taste like though. I mean, I would assume they would taste similar to regular mushrooms, so like earthy and planty. That's like the best idea I can get from it. I don't mind the flavor of mushrooms that much. So I would say like probably screen protector. I mean, you're doing that for the effects. And that's obviously why I think it's a psilocybin mushroom. I think that he would be okay food-wise, flavor-wise. You know, that's fine. That's okay. And I think that he would definitely give you an experience for sure. Pave. Ooh. Straight up gin. Pave is like straight up gin with possibly some lemon juice or some grenadine in it. Maybe grenadine. I'm leaning more towards grenadine because it has that good flavor, that has that sweetness to make it not as bad, but it's still a punch in the gut. I think that's going to be a tasty, tasty treat that you're going to have there, other than the fact that you're drinking rubbing alcohol with it. You know, it's almost the best of both worlds. Best of one world, worst of another. He does look good though. You know, I feel like it would be really good presentation wise. You know, you get things that you could pour into one glass at a fancier bar. That's screen protector. That is 100% screen protector vibes. Useful. It has a little bit of flavor to it though. It's just supposed to kind of wake you up, I would say. Pelly is kind of interesting to me. I feel like she would have a very powdery taste to her. Maybe some kind of buttermint. You know those little wrapped up buttermints, like a butterscotch, but not a butterscotch because it's not that flavor. Those little white mints. That's what I'm getting from her. Really hard, rock hard, not the best for dentures, which is unfortunate for her, but a light sweetness that you can't really identify any actual flavors in, and that powdery feeling when you bite it apart. I'm one of those people who will bite like Tic Tacs and stuff. I cannot just suck on something and leave it in my mouth. It's going. If it's hard candy, I'm biting it. Very, very lackluster vibes. Necco wafer. She could almost be an actual Necco wafer, but I'm not gonna go there because I think that's too much flavor. Pete, cornflakes. Dry, sexless cornflakes. You know, that was their purpose, and he's doing it. Very bland. I'm just gonna go with envelope because I feel like he would like eating envelopes, you know? Phineas. Yes. Yeah, I'm getting rusty here. I used to be able to name these guys. I would have never ever failed Jeopardy if it was Animal Crossing themed. Okay, I'm getting rusty now. Anyway, Phineas, just because of his outfit specifically, I'm getting tag-along cookie, Girl Scout cookie vibe. I know I've already done a Girl Scout cookie, but like, look at him. He is a Boy Scout man, all right? That is a Boy Scout, and he has that peanut butter flavor. Because, you know, all men like that really like peanut butter. That's what they live off of. And I like peanut butter too, but in a very different way. Pretty powdered sugar based. That's what I get from tag-along cookies, 100%. They're not a good peanut butter cookie. I don't like anything that's too powdered sugar based because I feel like they taste plasticky. Not my favorite, you know, a little bit of a laundry sheet vibe. I could eat a tag-along cookie. Definitely screen protector. If it was another type of peanut butter cookie, it would be higher. Phyllis. That's Phyllis, baby. Phyllis is definitely a White Claw. Probably a berry, probably a pomegranate flavor. One of the more fancy flavors that sound fancier but are just like the same thing. She is dolled up. She looks clean. She looks classic. Okay, bubbly. I like the carbonation. Would feel pretty dry. She's just a White Claw. Necco wafer. I'm running out of space, man. Okay. Porter, who is down there apparently. I can barely see him at this point. Porter. Oh, he's bland. He's oatmeal without anything in it. You know, that kind of curdier feeling in your mouth. Wet, slightly watery taste. You know, oatmeal, I am a supreme oatmeal defender, okay? I think oatmeal is great when you put stuff in it. However, that soggy oat flavor when you don't put anything in it is not great, which is why I always say to put stuff in it. Underdeveloped oatmeal. Take care of yourself here. Give yourself something to look forward to. A little bit of brown sugar. You know, maybe some honey, some maple syrup, even cocoa powder. Get that soggy flavor out of here, buddy. Not the best. Envelope. Ooh. Red is 100% like chili noodles. You know, super spicy fire noodles. He's got that silky feel of a good, fantastically formed noodle. Delicious, well cooked, but a very harsh kick to it. And I love spicy stuff. I think he would taste so good. I think that red would be a really, really good, delicious dish. And I think especially he would be made by somebody who really understands how to make a good spicy sauce. I feel like those chili noodles can be hard to perfect for some people. As like a spicy fan, he's gonna go into Polly Pocket clothes. Good texture with noodles. Noodles are always a great texture. Pasta's always a really good texture. Reese and Cyrus as a pair, as a whole dish, is giving me Dum Dum Lollipop. The ones that they give out for free. I think you can honestly enjoy a Dum Dum Lollipop in a very specific frame of mind, but there's a reason they're given out so easily. They're super cheap. They're super small. They have a very sticky texture, which I kind of hate. I hate a sticky texture. Not really anything other than a toddler would enjoy on a consistent basis, and that's fine. I don't like spending any sort of expensive amount of money on food at all, but here, even the Dum Dum Lollipop, you know, that's just, come on, guys, come on. Cotton candy Dum Dum though, obviously, because of the colors. Sorry. Necco wafer. Rover. Rover's really an interesting concept, you know, because when I look at him, I feel fear instead of getting any sort of vibes from him directly, which makes it a little bit harder. As seafood, maybe clams or oysters from him, which, as I've said, I have no interest in tasting at all. But I think some kind of expensive seafood, well prepared, maybe even scallops, something that you have to be very specific to like. But I feel like even from my perspective, they would be cooked really well. They would be the best quality you could get, but also kind of terrifying because, you know, when you go to a fancy restaurant, in theory, I've never been to one where you spend a lot of money, I assume you would be scared. Screen protector, just because I acknowledge that he's probably very good to the people who would like him, but he also scares me quite dearly. I'm very afraid. I'm afraid of him looking at me. I wish he would stop. Sable. Sable's a warm milk tea. I'm not talking about a milk tea with boba in it. I'm just talking about a very straight up milk tea, a milk tea latte, I guess, if you want to call it that. Delightful black tea with regular milk in it. Regular milk, I would say, because it has that thickness to it. Even though I really do love almond milk, I would give anything to be able to drink regular milk without shitting myself, because that is so good in milk tea. I think that she would be a really warm, comforting drink. I think that she would taste really smooth. I love that. I love those kind of teas. Really good. Fishbowl rocks 100%. Sahara. I think Sahara would be a very cinnamon sugary flavor, maybe toast with cinnamon and sugar on it. And before you say toast with cinnamon and sugar on it, you did not live the life that I did. If you've never had toast with cinnamon and sugar on it, you are missing out on something that will change your life so profoundly. Toast with cinnamon and sugar on it is delicious. It's crunchy, but not in a bad way. It is warm, it is buttery, it is so good. Toast with cinnamon and sugar on it will make you into a different, better person who understands like philosophy. That is a food that I love. That is a food that is very special and important and delicious, and I would eat it over and over again. It is comforting, it is childhood reminding, it's nostalgic. So Sahara, that light kick of cinnamon gives me her vibes, her bluntness. I love it. Polly Pocket. Serena. I think that we're all on the alcohol level again, right? 100%? Yes. Serena gives off the kind of vibes to me that a martini would give off, you know, expensive, not really that good, but seen as sort of a class symbol, I guess. I feel like martinis are always seen as some kind of class symbol, which I hate, but whatever. I think that she would be exclusive, hard to get to. You would be seen as some kind of celebrity if you had a Serena with you, okay? She would have that sort of status in her that would make her a very desirable food, but I don't really like martinis at all. Screen protector just because of that status, but like, ew. Timmy and Tommy as a group. Timmy and Tommy, I'm feeling like chocolate animal crackers for them, 100%. If you've never had a chocolate animal cracker, it barely tastes like chocolate. Very much a gas station kind of food, a grab and go food. They have never been in a state where I feel like they would be able to say that they have had the best care in the world. There's no heart in those. There's no heart in any chocolate animal crackers. There's no love in a chocolate animal cracker. And I feel like that's why they are so sad. They're like the LaCroix of chocolate, 100%. I hope that you guys get regular animal crackers at some point. Necco wafer. Tom Nook. Great. I feel very intensely about this, and I need you to understand here. McCafe black coffee. McDonald's black coffee. The cheapest possible coffee you can get. The easiest coffee you can get, even though he has so much money. He has so much money to get better coffee. Sadness, extremely hot, will burn your lap. He is going to hurt you. He is going to make you disappointed that you ever stopped for coffee. You would have rather just not had coffee than had a Tom Nook coffee, okay? But it's better than nothing if you need caffeine. You know, that caffeine is the only thing that keeps him going. The caffeine is the only thing that helps us come back because he does give us a house. That's the caffeine, which is the worst part because I really wish that we could leave him behind, so Necco wafer. Tortimer gives off walnut vibes to me. Walnuts are my least favorite nuts. I prefer pecans. I love a cashew. I enjoy an almond from time to time. A hazelnut is okay. I could be persuaded with a peanut. You know what I mean? I don't really like walnuts that much. I'm really not a big fan of the flavor. I feel like they taste kind of pasty, kind of gluey, which is what I'm getting from Envelope, you know? I feel like this man is a very envelope flavored man, and I would like any other nut a lot better than I would like him, but Tortimer is just so not good. Lackluster in the department of flavor. You know, you expect a nut to be good. You expect a nut to have a really good flavor to it. Because I feel like nuts are one of the most versatile, underappreciated things on this earth. Super good, absolutely delightful to eat on its own or in stuff. Envelope. Glue flavored. Wardell. Oh, my little guy. My little guy. My little baby. My little son. I love Wardell deeply, as you probably know. He just looks so squishy, which is giving me interesting thoughts, you know? I want to say, I'm gonna do something here, okay? He is made of the Polly Pocket silicone. And I know that's not a food, that's not technically edible, but I would chew on him. I really would. I would give him a good chew in. And I think that that is the absolute best thing I could say about anybody here. He is a Polly Pocket clothing item and he would be delightfully chewable. Fantastic, Wardell. You are doing God's work right now, Wardell, okay? That is absolutely the only cake I would ever want on my birthday, is a delicious little Polly Pocket jacket that I could chew on. Oh, what's his name? Walrus. I feel like it's a weedy name. It's like wheat. Wendell. Yeah, that's kind of a weedy name. Wendell saltine cracker, which isn't necessarily bad. I could enjoy a saltine cracker from time to time, you know. I don't mind a saltine cracker, but honestly, it's good when you need it. It's good when you're sick, but it has nothing exciting to it. It's a very, very bland food, which is why your stomach can digest it so well when you're sick. And that's great. That's fine and all, but really not something I would reach for that often unless I got into a specific mood, like my toast and butter mood, you know. But that doesn't happen very often, so he's not really that practical. He has more edibility than a Necco wafer, so I'm gonna go with screen protector, but that's a very light screen protector, okay? I don't think he's very good. Wilbur. The dreaded Wilbur. I'm thinking like the Kinder Surprise toy that a child put in their mouth on accident and choked on. It's plastic. Not a good textured plastic, not a chewy plastic, not a tasty plastic. Just straight up plastic that should not be ingested. Envelope. Bad. Wisp. I think Wisp is giving me that freeze-dried texture again, but this time I would say astronaut ice cream. You remember when that was a trend? Did anybody else have that phase when they were a kid where they really wanted to try astronaut ice cream and then they tried it and they were so disappointed? I don't know, that makes me really nostalgic though, because I did really want that for a long time, and it was an interesting texture, crunching on floral foam maybe, and that's what I feel like for him. It had a little bit of flavor, but it was mostly like a marshmallow flavor. It was certainly okay, and it made me happy to have that experience, you know, when I finally tried it. I think I tried it at like a school field trip, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was okay. And I think that textural experience of biting into floral foam is something that everybody has wanted to try. I just don't think it lined up with what you wanted for astronaut ice cream, you know what I mean? Screen protector again, 100%. Last but not least is Zipper, a jelly bean. I think jelly beans are the single most disappointing candy you could ever have, because every flavor, you see those mountains of different flavors and you're like, this has got to be good. One of these has got to be pretty good. And they are all so beyond mediocre. Okay, a jelly bean is never going to make you happy. A jelly bean is never going to give you the exact future you want. You're never going to see a jelly bean and think, yeah, I feel good after eating this jelly bean. I feel completely satisfied. This was delightful. No, it was a jelly bean. It's never going to make you happy. Empty idea of a candy. Nothing to give you any kind of draw in. They're so small that you forget that they were there, but you remember the disappointment, which is absolutely an envelope to me. So, you know, that's every single Animal Crossing NPC, ranked by the edibility of them and the flavors I think they would have. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry you watched this. And again, thank you for all of your support. I really appreciate it. I'm still working with my cat right now. Yeah, I'll keep you updated on her and stuff, but it's been really hard, and all of your support is so beyond appreciated at all times, and you've been keeping me going, so thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you watching this. If you watched it all the way through, you're so cool. Thank you, all of my members. I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay wonderful. Good. Bye.